Hello everyone, I'm Jeff Yalden. I'd like to have an opportunity to address to the controversy on the internet about my visit to a particular school that has seriously caused pain, not only to me personally and professionally, but it's also caused a lot of pain to my family and my assistant Betty. Before anything, I'd like to apologize from the bottom of my heart for this firestorm that is taking place on Twitter and for the simple fact that I have to address this situation rather than just completely ignore it. However, the situation has attacked and continues to affect my reputation. My friends, I take great pride in my work and my advocacy for teens, working in teen mental health as a speaker and as a professional. So whether I'm speaking to teens, mental health professionals and advocates, administrators, counselors, families, anybody who might live with mental illness, my job is very personal to me, and it's a major part of the man that I am today. In my nearly 3 decades as a professional speaker on mental health, I have never experienced such a reaction from a school community. This unfortunate situation was very unnecessary and very sad. But my friends, since this happened in May 2019, I have had to answer many questions in order to protect my reputation. And so this video and the blog on my website will be the very last time that I address this in order to explain my side. And before taking the false accusations of this one particular community, I seriously ask you to please visit my website, jeffyalden.com, and consider that I've been speaking professionally for nearly 3 decades. And please take the time to review all the videos, the testimonials, the reference letters, and so much more that is on my website. My friends, here's the problem, and much of the reason why we are having to have this discussion. It seems like everyone has these rights and privileges today, but not many seem to have responsibilities and obligations anymore. I think society is losing control, and there's plenty of talk about what to do and how to do it, but there's not much action. And one of the things that I advocate in my speaking is I advocate action with my work, and I live it, because I've had to learn from it in the past. And I also pride myself on being transparent and authentic in my work with teens and school communities. As a matter of fact, I expect all adults, especially those who work with children, to stand up and do what is right. That's the message that we need to share in the relationships that we're building every day. And so in regards to this particular community, I learned a valuable lesson. My contract specifically states that an auditorium should be used as the venue, not a gymnasium. However, if a gymnasium is to be used, I want the students to feel comfortable and on one side of the bleachers, not 2 sides of the bleachers, because if that's the case, I'm turning my back on people and there's a large mass of students that I can't really connect with and I don't have much control. And so I'll tell you, the next time I walk into a gymnasium with 1,000 students in bleachers on either side of me, one of the things that I've learned is I will own the situation and I will walk away protecting myself and the venue, the school that I'm talking in. But my friends, that day, I let it slide. After all, I'm a youth speaker, I'm the guest, and to be honest, I don't understand, because we had an incredible assembly. You could hear the pin drop. And even the testimonials from the kids, nobody was on their cell phones. Just sad. My friends, I was brought into this community in Wisconsin because shortly before school started in the fall of 2018, a young person made a forever decision. This particular situation got the ball rolling, and the school community, the administration, and the district did extensive research to find the person and the message that they wanted to share. They took nearly 2 years And in the end, they decided to hire me. And so on May 2nd, 2019, I was contracted with this school district. Matter of fact, I was hired for the following day to speak at the middle school. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. After my parent program that night, and noting that the firestorm was happening and the news media was caving in on it, I made the decision to cancel the following day. And I think that was the right thing to do. I deal with suicide a lot. Matter of fact, I think I deal with teen suicide every single day. Suicide is never an easy topic to address, especially when it's one of your own. Emotions are raw. The community also suffered an unexpected loss in 2019 of one of their staff members. I was coming into a very sensitive situation, but my communication about these two situations, and my friends, I always am. But I also know that when you have loss, it needs to be talked about. That's what our youth want. But I'm always sensitive and careful in my words not to leave pieces that have to be picked up. I never want to come across as being insensitive. My talk wasn't about an individual situation or a person, because that is too risky, and that can certainly expose the community's raw feelings. I always choose to stay the whole day, and sometimes 2 or 3 days. I never want to leave a school having to pick up pieces of something that I may have said where the counselors have to work harder. That would be unprofessional. I've got 3 decades. I would never, ever want to do that. For any event I do, there's a process. The school administration has to review my materials. They sign a contract, they fill out a pre-programmed questionnaire prior to my visit. I also provide the school administration with a letter to share with their teachers, their parents, and also to the students that it's all contained on my website. Information about my message, about me, everything from my office is provided ahead of time. Again, very transparent. Anybody can look me up, gather whatever information that they choose. And so when I come into communities to help, folks, I know I'm the guest. I'm coming into your community. I consider myself one of the parents, a staff member, a mental health coach, a coach. And I know that my visits make a difference. I want to make an impact. I want to plant seeds. I want to give hope and encouragement and support. I'm not afraid to tell my story as it inspires others that it's okay to tell their own story. And so I share my story in hopes that I can plant the seeds that it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to not be okay and to not want to talk about it. I encourage everyone to trust in people and relationships, to talk, to communicate. I want everyone to know that life is real. There's ups, there's downs, and ultimately, no matter what we go through, how we respond is our responsibility. That's not being insensitive. That's the truth and one of life lessons that we need to teach our young people. So my friends, on the day of my event, I arrived early. I arrived early for the meet and greet with district administrators, the school administration, the counselors, and other staff members like the school psychologist, the school resource officer. Whoever wants to be there can be there. And this is in addition to my pre-programmed questionnaire that my office sends to every client. This questionnaire is vital because it familiarizes me ahead of time with the school community that I'm coming to visit. It covers what is expected of me, including the expectations or specific issues, and it also requests information about the venue and the expected number of students who will be attending. My office never received this pre-programmed questionnaire back from the school district, but that happens often. And when it does, I work even harder to gather the relevant information the morning of the event. And so I remember one of the questions that I asked, as I do everywhere, was, so at the end of the day, what are your expectations? I remember one of the administrators answered, a superintendent sees the need for us to talk about mental health and we want to start the conversation. I remember thinking, and I remember this clearly because we had such a great meeting that morning. And I was like, thank you, excellent. I'm so proud of you as a school community that wants to start talking and communicating about this. Let's do it. My first impression, I got to share this with you, as I walked into this particular school community was, wow. I was in awe of the beautiful campus, their strong support of our military. I remember watching the energy as the students left their cars and walked across campus into the foyer, into the building. Having done this for so many years, I can tell a school climate within minutes of being on the property. My friends, I was impressed with this school from the very get-go. Matter of fact, I'm still impressed. The firestorm after my visit wasn't because of the school community, as much as it was just a few people stirring the pot. It's what the internet gives people the opportunity to do. And at the end of the day, the school had to respond in order to protect themselves, their students, and their staff, and also their community. I get it. I understand. But unfortunately, I never have been protected from the flames. Again, that's the power of social media, the internet. My friends, the internet can expose the truth about people, places, things. But the internet can also be a playground where people can hide and fabricate stories by creating a fake alias and a fake account. And there's no protection from this. And it's unfortunate. Even after the event, the school administration and my points of contact were very inviting and kind. I stayed the whole day working with kids and being with the counselors. And they kept saying they'd researched a long time and how happy they were that I was there. I was excited, honored. It was a pleasure. And again, I share with you, it was a great day. And hours later that evening, 350, 400 parents came out, and we had an amazing talk with them. But then afterwards, I decided after the firestorm that tomorrow's just not a good idea. In closing, this is a very unfortunate situation I can't run or hide from. I wish I could. Fabricated criticism remains on the internet, and I have had to address it a number of times. I've lost speaking engagements because people consider the risk versus the reward. I understand. But what I don't understand is that after nearly 3 decades of my speaking all over the world with countless positive reviews, that this unfortunate reaction from just a few select people in one community labels me as too much of a risk. On my website, I have posted screenshots of their Twitter messages, their emails, and more. My friends, you can clearly see the chaos that raged out of control because of a select few people. I'm sorry to this wonderful community who had to experience this. I'm sorry to my assistant who had to handle the prank phone calls. And I'm sorry to my family that my career brought this trauma into our lives. And I'm also sorry for any community who chooses not to bring me in because this firestorm that I'm talking about. It hurts my heart that I will not meet students who need to hear this message, a message that needs to be shared and talked about. My friends, I thank you for letting me talk. I'd love to answer any questions that you might have regarding this situation or address any concerns about my visiting your community. And so I leave you with love, compassion, and empathy. I'm grateful that you gave me this opportunity to share. Take care.